Good evening. Chris is upside down. Uh, How crazy is that? Is that
What a wild
intentional,
man.
or are things? Uh,
It's
are
real.
you, Chris? Are you actually hanging from the ceiling?
Oh yeah.
It's.
That's
I mean, I'm
wild.
on my phone right now, but it looks normal to me. I don't. I don't.
Well, you're upside
I'm not
down.
really.
But he
Okay. Let
wasn't
me.
before until
No.
we went live.
Good evening,
Oh,
everyone. That's
really?
an excellent omen. Excellent way to start.
Hmm.
Tom here, Cinema Attacks, and Chris. Yeah, now your normal ways up.
Okay.
Uh,
All right. Cool.
Scott. Scott, go ahead and introduce yourself. Say hello.
Hello, I'm Scott, and I don't really like movies very much.
Fuck you.
That's what we're looking for. That's exactly. You're
Well,
perfect.
you want a broad swath of opinions.
Yeah. And Eli.
Hello. Darkins from the cold north. Wearing my Animal House shirt today.
Oh wow, that's what that
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, isn't that
Awesome.
cool? Yeah. There's so much going on in it. You could stare at it for a week. Yeah.
And Chris. Chris is now I'm hearing. Or Chris, why don't you mute your mic? There. Technical difficulties, people.
We're
Chris is
also being counter-programmed. I don't know if you're aware of that.
no.
One by one.
Metal Marty Mac is, or no, it's Rocket Metal Plus is doing a movie stream right now.
Really?
Yeah, with Marty and Sean the Beast.
Weird.
Wow, at the same time. That's quite a coincidence.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like WWE's predatory tactics, trying to squash the little guy.
Okay. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. And James is here. Thank you, James. You're the best. So is there a new Cryptopsy?
Yeah, I think it just came out. I haven't heard it yet.
I don't think I've heard their last couple albums, probably.
Honestly, the last one was solid. Yeah, kind of a return to form. So I assume this will just kind of be more of the same of that. I gotta say, I've seen the album cover and I love how it looks like a generic brutal death metal album cover, like from the I don't know, like earlier 2000s. But I mean that kind of in a good way. Like it looks like one of those like Severed Records album covers or something. I like it. Check it out if you see what you think. But
I think the last one I had was Once Was Not.
I thought that album was killer.
Yeah.
Everyone seemed to talk shit about it, and it had a dumb cover, but I thought it was really good.
Yeah,
I'll take shitty 2000s Photoshop now over AI. So
yeah, absolutely, yeah, dude. I want to see that shit.
I did just a fun test because I was messing with the Adobe AI program, and I took the Deicide album cover and improved it.
You improved it.
And it's kind of amazing how shitty that cover is. That, in fairness, AI is constantly improving.
True.
But it's really easy to make something substantially better in 5 seconds.
Rick from the Dreadful Minutes did. I don't know if he did it for that one or for the Kerry King one. That they look almost exactly the same anyway. But yeah, he just did like a demonstration of in 15 minutes he made it look 100 times better.
Wow.
Well, all
Wow.
I did, I just uploaded it into the Adobe AI, which is called Firefly, and just said, make it look better, you know, make it look more evil or something. And it was way better.
Oh, so okay. So even it would take an even less effort to make it better.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
And James, I didn't know that what James just said. That's a pretty cool little piece of history.
Oh, okay.
Yes, we have competition, as it
Yeah.
seems. Hello, Simon.
Yeah, well, look where Simon and James are. I think we know who won. Not that
Simon is virulently anti-American, so he's watching the Filthy Foreigners stream instead of ours.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, those Brits, man. They're
Yeah.
you gotta watch
You
out.
know what I
for
don't
them.
like about them? They're lazy and they steal.
Yeah.
Okay, I can hear you guys now. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Very good.
I can hear you.
Okay, all right. Sorry about that.
So our topic tonight is going to be stand-up comedians in film, which is a very wide topic, and there's a million movies you could talk about.
Mhm.
I just had one question for you guys, because it's an unrelated topic that we could discuss if anyone gives a shit. But the sort of the big talk in the blue tuber community this week is regarding vinegar syndrome and them threatening um, distributors of foreign releases in the U.S. I don't know if do you guys ever buy from like Diabolic DVD or Orbit DVD, or
Yeah.
these places where you get import Blu-rays?
I haven't, but I know of them.
Yeah, Diabolic's great.
Yeah, because there used to be back in the day a company called Exploited Cinema that basically did the same thing, in the aughts, I think. And I would order from them, but then they went out of business. And then after that point, I started using Diabolic DVD, and I pretty much, I think for like 15 years, like for any import DVDs, Blu-rays, that's pretty much who I usually have used is Diabolic DVD.
Yeah, they're one of the best, I think, that I know of.
So I don't know the details. Is Vinegar Syndrome mad about them selling the same titles? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, so I'll just run through sort of my opinion because I was watching. Generally, people have been completely shitting on Vinegar Syndrome, and they treat it like, and I've heard this term used, but Vinegar Syndrome is using mafia tactics to
Very
pre-
American.
to prevent other companies from selling competitive releases.
That's disappointing to hear. As a fan of Vinegar Syndrome, I mean, I guess
But
we could dive into it deeper, but on the surface, that sounds fucking horrible.
but I don't think that's quite accurate.
Okay.
So I watched some of this. There's this channel called AVA Pop Culture. This guy Chase, and he was doing a stream about it. It might have been last night actually. So I did watch some of that, and he is more on the side of Vinegar Syndrome. Um, so basically, and then he posted some information that proved that Vinegar Syndrome owns the worldwide rights to Michael Mann's The Keep. So that was the big title that came up.
Yeah.
So basically, Vinegar Syndrome owns the worldwide rights to The Keep, and they sublicensed it to a company in Australia called Imprint. And then Imprint, so basically Imprint has the rights in Australia to sell it in Australia, and then Vinegar Syndrome has the rights in the rest of the world, I think, unless they also sublicense it to somebody else. So if Imprint couldn't. So they have their like a fancy box set, expensive box set edition. That I think is a couple $100 or something.
Wow.
So basically, if Imprint opened a store in the U.S., they couldn't sell their imported version because Vinegar Syndrome has the rights to sell the Keep in the U.S. and they don't. And then individuals can order from Australia and have it shipped to them from the individuals from the U.S. That's okay. And then the way they're getting around it so they can sell the Australian version in the U.S. is they have Orbit DVD, which is it's an actual physical store in North Carolina, and they also do mail order.
Wow.
They're selling a bunch of copies of it wholesale to Orbit DVD for them to then resell. And this is I took a copyright class 10 years ago, so apparently I'm an expert in this.
More than us probably.
So I could be wrong about this, but as far as I understand, there's something called the first sale doctrine. So like basically, if I buy a Blu-ray and I don't like it, I can go sell it on eBay. It's not copyright infringement for me to sell it on eBay. I'm hearing music. I assume that's from Chris because it's like someone driving by.
Is it really loud?
No, it's okay now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that's Pride is going on, and I'm like 3 blocks from that. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so basically the way they're getting around it is, as far as I understand it, if Orbit DVD advertised that they're the official US distributor of imprint releases, then that would be illegal. But if they don't advertise it, basically they just pretend like the guy that runs Orbit DVD is an individual who's buying 50 copies of the release and then reselling them.
Which should be legal, right?
Yes, but it's sort of like this weird gray area.
Yeah.
Because Orbit DVD is functionally a distributor of imprint releases in the US, which theoretically should be illegal. But the way, as I understand the for sale doctrine, it's only illegal if it's known to the buying public. So if the buying public goes into the store or goes on the Orbit DVD website and it's advertised that they have a partnership with Imprint, then at that point it's illegal. But if they just don't say anything, then it's okay. And that's why people have gotten away with this for so long. So basically, Vinegar Syndrome threatened Orbit DVD, saying we're not going to sell you releases or this, that, and the other. And then Orbit DVD just decided they're cutting off their relationship with Vinegar Syndrome, period. Wow. So they're not going to be selling Vinegar Syndrome titles anymore going forward.
You know what? That reminds me of for licensing, for distribution rights, the My Bloody Valentine reissues that came out in, I think, 2020. It was really weird, like the way that they were distributed, because it was, Isn't Anything Loveless, the MBV album that they put out, and I think there was one more. I can't remember. But, a singles comp. And the singles comp, Isn't Anything, and Loveless, you could only buy those from the UK. They weren't licensed for sale anywhere in the States. only the MBV album, which I think that was their comeback album from 2015 or something like that. That was the only one that record stores in the United States were allowed to carry, but all of the other ones, you had to buy them from the UK. And so I ordered all of those. And the thing that was really crazy is that places weren't even allowed to ship those to the States. Like, I ended up having to order them directly from the My Bloody Valentine web store. And they shipped those to me, and it was fucking crazy. It took like 3 months for me to get the package. But yeah, that was really weird. No place in the States was allowed to sell those, and then stores in the UK were not allowed to ship to the United States. Really weird.
Yeah, it's complicated.
Very complicated.
But yeah, in my opinion, Vinegar Syndrome should really just be dealing with imprint and like legally, suing them or giving, just dealing with imprint on this, or changing how they do their contracts. Like, we won't license a title or extra features to you if you sell a competitive release in a country where we have the rights to it. In my opinion, they should just go after or deal with imprint on this and not deal with Orbit DVD, because I don't really think it's so much their fault.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. Sorry, Scott.
Oh no, I'm sorry. My opinion is Vinegar Syndrome is probably right in the lawyer sense, but they seem like dicks in this situation. And I think it's cool that Orbit said, well, okay, well, fuck off then. We won't carry your titles. That's fine. And these, I don't know the details, but you said this is a really deluxe set with a lot of things that aren't on the Vinegar Syndrome one.
Yeah, it's like some giant box that lights up or some bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's not the same thing. So I don't know. I guess I'm more I'm more in the camp usually of fuck Vinegar Syndrome than not. So that might be coloring my opinion, but yeah, I don't like this. You can buy it here, but not here, and it's not, to me, it's not the same thing. If you want just the movie, you can get just the movie. But if you really are a big fan and want this super deluxe thing, I think you should be able to get it without paying, $150 shipping from Australia. But,
yeah, kind of one of those things too, where it's like, just because it's maybe Vinegar Syndrome might be in the right legally, doesn't mean that you should do something. It's going to give you a bad look and harm your reputation.
Yeah, like I don't see how that's taking a whole lot away from them. Are a lot of people saying, I'm not going to buy the $40 Vinegar Syndrome one because I want to buy the $200 imprint one?
Yeah, I doubt it. I doubt it.
Yeah, I don't think it's worth it. I think either you sort of attack it legally or in terms of how you structure your contracts, or you don't at all.
Yeah.
This is like some weird gray area where we're going to strong arm you by, you have to buy our releases from our store, or we're going to ship them to you late after release day.
Yeah.
In order to get what we want.
Yeah.
Like, either go the legal route or the contract route, or just stay out of it. That's my opinion.
I also think it is so Vinegar Syndrome that it's over a terrible movie like The Keep. It sucks.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of it. I need to rewatch it though.
I only rented it on VHS, and like everybody else, I didn't know what was going on. But it looked cool.
Yeah, it's cool to look
at.
And you get the Tangerine Dream soundtrack, Yeah, I need to read the book then. That sounds cool.
And James with a good.
I get that it's a lost movie and everything that wasn't available for so long, and that's why people are all fired up. But
and it's Michael Mann, and yeah,
it's Michael Mann. At the end, though, it's like the person who spends $200 on this movie, I was like,
yeah,
wow, all right, brother, have fun.
Well, yeah, hopefully they only made 10 of those things or something, you know, like, I don't know.
Yeah, there's like that stuff is just getting out of control. Like the crazy box sets that they're releasing for movies that it used to be like nobody liked.
Yeah, because how do I store this, you know, type of thing. Like, where do I put this fucking thing?
Like, or like the Golden Child thing. It's like three. It's like a box inside of a box with a slipcase. You know, I would understand if it was Beverly Hills Cop or something.
Yeah.
I have some Laserdisc box sets that will blow your mind because
they
not
weigh
only
50 pounds.
yeah, exactly. It's like the Laserdisc box sets are the same dimensions as an LP box set, but it weighs like 4 times.
Yeah, those Laserdiscs they're beefy. They're beefy.
Oh yeah.
They look like a record, but they're way heavier.
Oh yeah.
Bucks.
Yeah, but even then, like something like you wouldn't get Bikini Car Wash, or what's the name of the Jim Wynorski? Is it just Bikini Car Wash?
Bikini Car Wash Company, sir.
Oh, Company. Okay.
Oh, Company, yeah.
You wouldn't get Bikini Car Wash Company, you know, in a box inside of a box.
I would.
No, I'm just saying, like back in the day, that didn't exist.
Yeah.
I have when I bought my Laserdisc player, the guy who sold it to me gave me 4 crates of Laserdiscs, and like one of those crates is all anime, and I don't know anything about anime. I've never been into anime really, but I have anime box sets that are just like what you described, where the packaging is really elaborate, and they have the obi strips on it, and they're in the really heavy PVC sleeve.
Those might be valuable, actually.
I think that they are. I don't know. I don't know anything about anime at all.
I don't either. Very little. But this is probably old 80s and 90s anime, so I mean,
it's they're not dubbed either. Like they're all just like all Japanese.
Straight Japanese, yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I know that there is like an anime Laserdisc collecting community. I
don't doubt it. Yeah, because I know there's a Laserdisc community. Of course, there's going to be fans of anime in the Laserdisc community. So yeah, I bet those are valuable. Dude, you should look into it just for shits and giggles.
I want to sell them.
Or that, yeah.
Yeah,
you might once you see the price tag or whatever, you might be more motivated to get rid of them.
Yeah, exactly. Anime's never been my thing, so if anyone's
I appreciate
watching,
anime. I appreciate it. I think it's cool, and I like the fandom and everything. But yeah, it's not my thing either.
That definitely sounds like if you can find the right community, yeah, you could cash in on those.
I have no doubt. They sound awesome too. I have no doubt they're worth money.
All right. Do you guys want to talk about, is there a movie in particular that you want to talk about that maybe stars a stand-up comedian?
I'll go first if you want.
Yeah, go ahead, Eli.
I kind of I meant to run this by you guys and see if you wanted to do like some kind of a format or whatever. So since I forgot, I just kind of kept it tight, so this doesn't go on forever. But like, I'll just preface it by saying, I'm a huge fan of stand-up comedy. Chris, I know you are too, obviously, and I think Scott. I think we all are, obviously.
Yeah.
And going back to the 80s for me, and I've always been really fascinated with, super fascinated with. Yeah, I have that. Yeah, Richard Pryor's. I'll just say now, Richard Pryor is my all-time favorite comedian, but I'm not really going to be focusing on him right now. But anyways, I've always been fascinated with stand-up comedians. It showing up in movies because it's always cool to see someone who's not a trained actor. They didn't go to acting school, or most of them didn't have Broadway performance experience. But comedians are just, they're natural actors. So it's, for me, it's cool to see what they can bring to the table aside from comedy. Like, obviously, you put Richard Pryor in a comedy movie, you put Robin Williams in a comedy movie, it's gonna be funny. But like, I like to see what they can do outside of comedy. So I decided to pick two Robin Williams films. Robin Williams is one of my favorite just humans of all time. I'm sure he was more than flawed like everyone else, but like, he always inspired me, and he was always there, you know, growing up, and it was really hard for me to see him go. So these two movies are two of my favorites of his. They're not perfect, but I picked them because I just really love what he brings to the table. And for me, with Robin Williams, is really cool. What I thought made him such a great actor is the fact that he, aside from being a comedian, like he was such a complex person, and like he carried, like, as you know now, and I don't think we as fans really knew at the time, he carried like a lot of pain. So I think he was able to like let that go for some of his performances. Like, you can take a movie like Good Will Hunting, which you could say like that's maybe not a great movie, but like his performance in that movie, I think, is outstanding. I mean, he won fucking how many awards for that, and he wasn't even the lead, you know. But so I chose 1 Hour Photo. It's a deeply flawed movie, I think, at a lot of times, but like, I just love it for maybe not deeply flawed, but okay, it's not perfect. It's scary to me how dark it is, in the fact that it's a normal guy, just kind of like, that's been shit on his entire life, and just watching him just crumble emotionally and mentally. And it's terrifying because it's like, shit like this happens in real life, and like, there's people like Robin Williams' character in this movie that are just completely overlooked and probably untreated for mental illness. And it's a tough watch, and it's like, it's tough because it's like, he is ultimately the villain in this movie, but he doesn't know it. He doesn't mean to be a villain. He doesn't want to be a bad guy. But it's one of those movies I can only really watch like every 10 years, because it's just so dark and I don't know.
Yeah, I saw it in the theater, and I thought it was really great. I think he's fantastic in it.
Yeah.
And I think I only rewatched it once on DVD.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that the movie's great for what it is.
Yeah. And like, it's one of those movies where it's like, let's say they casted somebody else that maybe didn't give that same performance, think of how different of a movie it could have been. It could have gone from what it is to be like, that was okay, I guess, So the other one is I'm gonna talk about is World's Greatest Dad. Yeah, I really love this movie. It's a Bobcat Goldthwait film. I don't know how many films Bobcat has directed. Not a lot, right? I don't think.
Didn't he do a Bigfoot mockumentary?
Yeah. Did you see that one? I thought it was okay.
I don't think I actually saw it.
It's like Boggy Creek or something. He's copying Blair Witch Project way too much. Like, it's almost blatant at points, but it's okay. And it's weird. I'll give it that. But yeah, Bobcat's. I've never really been into his comedy necessarily, but he's an interesting dude. And so yeah, this movie's completely different than 1 Hour Photo, but at the same time, I see some parallels, maybe just because of Robin Williams. But he brings that same character where he's just shit on by everybody, and that's the whole point of the movie. It's it's kind of satirical, and it's it's funny, and it's dark, and like, I think for me, what makes the whole entire movie is one of the hardest scenes I've ever had to watch in a movie. The scene like where he breaks down after he finds his son dead. It's like one of the hardest things I've seen in a movie, I think. But yeah, I could have gone with a lot of his other stuff. Those are, I think, the two that really have like impacted me over the years.
Yeah, and I love what a piece of shit his son is.
Oh my god. Oh my
So
god, dude.
then when yeah,
Oh. The scene where I can't even say the words, but you know what I mean, where they're in the car together and he's like, "You want to listen to music?" "No, man, I fucking hate music." Or he says all music is gay, basically, and like, well, we could listen to rap or we could listen to country, or oh, how about heavy metal? And he's like, I can't remember the exact line, but he's like, "That's the gayest music of them all."
yeah, I saw it when it came out, and I really loved it.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever seen Death to Smoochie?
Yeah. Was it Edward
I
Norton, right, too?
Yeah, I saw that in the theater, but
Yeah.
I haven't seen it since whenever it came out.
Yeah. Yeah. R.I.P. Robin Williams. Sad to see him go.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many great credits or even like little roles.
Yeah.
He's in Adventures of Baron Munchausen as whatever that floating head
Yeah.
thing is. Um,
A birdhouse.
Oh, that's a
Only
great Birdcage. Yeah.
birdcage. Yeah,
Nathan
yeah.
Lane. That's a fucking great movie. Classic.
and then the other comparable movie to 1 Hour Photo or role, I think, is the Insomnia remake,
Yeah, with Al
Oh
Pacino.
yeah.
where he just plays a straight bad guy, basically, a
Yeah.
killer.
Yep. Like a full-on villain.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one. Underrated too. Wasn't that that was a big director like David Fincher or something like that, right? Like a big
That was Christopher Nolan.
Nolan. Yeah, Nolan.
Yeah, I'm looking at his IMDb. I mean, there's so many.
It's cool to see his daughter Zelda living on. I did not love her first film, but I think she has she shows promise for sure, and she seems cool too. Kind of like her dad, and no, I mean not like her dad, but she looks like him, and she it's cool to see her, carry the torch of the Williams name.
What movie was she in?
Well, she directed
Sure.
Lisa Frankenstein,
Oh, okay.
which was an okay movie, but I hope she has more in her.
Okay. And then I loved Popeye as a kid, even though everybody shits in that movie.
Well, he is a great Popeye.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Chris.
I just saw on YouTube within the past few weeks there was a few channels were talking about how Popeye was what people who worked on the set of Popeye saying it was the most coked out movie.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Movie that they've ever been involved with.
Yeah,
Like,
I saw that too.
Yeah, pretty much everyone's blasted out of their minds through the entire movie.
Can you imagine Shelley Duvall just high on cocaine? Well, you've seen it in that movie, I guess. But isn't it funny watching a movie too, where you like you know that all these actors are just high out of their minds?
Oh yeah, yeah.
No one's supposed to know. It's not supposed to be obvious, but we know.
I haven't seen it since the theater. Like I was a little kid. It was Popeye, so I loved it. I don't remember anything about it other than seeing clips of it now. I've never rewatched it. I don't know. I probably should.
It is exactly what it is. It's a live action Popeye movie. I mean, what else do you want? From a yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's still really weird that Robert Altman was the director.
Yeah.
Um,
Must have just been a guy that was hired, right? One of those director for hire in this case.
Was he trying to did he just have a flop before that?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, what? There's got to be a reason why he directed this. Maybe it was money. I don't know.
well, he was kind of like flopping in the entire 80s period.
Yeah.
Or even the late 70s. Let me look up his, because I remember Gosford Park was like his comeback movie. Even
I don't
gotta
know.
love
It
those
seems to me
directors.
that's the kind of movie he would take because
Yeah.
things aren't going well and he needs a hit.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there has to be a reason, and the reasons I don't think because he wanted to do it, but maybe a chance to work with Robin Williams. That could be a thing. That sure, I'll do it. But yeah, I think Scott has a point probably.
Yeah, because I think because like that movie Quintet came out the year earlier, and I think that was like considered to be terrible and a bomb.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that I'd be curious to look up an interview with Robert Altman as to why
Yeah.
he decided to take that movie.
Yeah. I bet it's out there somewhere. There's an interview that it's out there.
That could be a whole another episode of because there's Robert Altman was still very prolific, so even there's quite a few movies that he directed that nobody saw.
Good
And
point.
even a lot of the big ones I haven't seen, so that's probably something I should dive into.
Yeah, me too.
All right, Scott, did you want to talk about? any
Actually,
particular-
can you go to Chris? I left my notes upstairs. I'm gonna go run and grab my notes.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay, so this is two movies featuring stand-up comedians. Okay, so going back to the 80s, the golden days of stand-up comedy, comedians who were breaking out big could do a 90-minute stand-up special and it would be shown in theaters. And people would go to the theater to see a 90-minute stand-up special. You don't see that nowadays. You haven't seen that in a long time. And I think that was really just unique to probably the 80s, maybe early 90s at the most. One stand-up special, stand-up movie, I guess you could say. I don't know if this was ever in theaters, but I remember it was on HBO. Was Andrew Dice Clay, The Dice Man Cometh.
Oh yeah.
And
I've seen it many times.
oh yeah, I'm telling you, like
Oh!
that one. Yeah, you go through it. I mean, that is definitely like 90 minutes of his prime material.
Remember old Mother Hubbard? Yeah, I fucked her.
Yeah, I love that he takes a well-known child story
Yeah.
and he says, I'm going to flip it on its head. I'm going to take this beloved child's character that all the children love, and then I'm going to go on stage and then let everyone know that I fucked the shit out of her.
Yeah.
And
that's it. That's
it.
And you know what? During that, the camera will pan and show the audience, and people are standing up, and they're like, "Yeah," because at that time, nobody had heard
that was
offensive comedy like that. Like filthy, dirty comedy existed, but it was just in like the Chitlin circuit, where it was like black comedians who in the 70s who did like the really raunchy, dirty stuff, but none of that got any like mainstream exposure. So when you're talking like a filthy white comedian, Andrew Dice Clay was really the first one to kind of like really break out with that type of style. But yeah, like the whole like Jack and Jill went up the hill each with a bucket of quarter. Jill came down with 250. That fucking and I mean, it was. I remember my friends and I, having a sleepover, watching that late at night, and just laughing hysterically at it. And it was, I just listened to it recently, like within the past year, and some of it holds up well. Other parts of it don't hold up. You can tell kind of where he was too rehearsed or like where he fucked up in a delivery. There are a few fuck ups, that they didn't edit out at the time. The fuck ups are in the film, and but yeah, it's
I love how
None
that
of that
dude's just like a
material.
caricature of himself, you know. Andrew Dice,
Oh,
he's a
yeah.
walking. I love how he's a walking stereotype, but like proud of it, you know.
Yeah,
You know,
he started out as a John Travolta impersonator,
Really?
so that's how the character started.
yeah.
And he's like, oh,
Makes-
people like it.
Yeah, which makes sense. Like he would just go. He was Andrew Silverstein, and he would go on stage and do his John Travolta impression.
Yeah, because
He's like,
he's a Jewish boy from Brooklyn, and yeah, comedians who do a character as their persona, a lot of times they get worn out, and people just you get tired of the character, you know.
Oh yeah, it's a gimmick
Like
at the end of the day.
Bobcat Goldthwait would probably fall into that category, like his stand-up act, his shtick.
yeah,
I
yeah,
agree.
yeah. Character comics, they don't hold up well over time.
Unless you have amazing material like Gilbert Gottfried, like he could pull it off. I think he's one of the few that could pull it off. Actually,
That qualifies as like kayfabe, like
Yeah.
Nikita Koloff.
yeah,
Like he just was like that in public anywhere
Yeah.
he went, pretty much.
like you don't ever break character, and you go your whole life without breaking character, pretty much, unless you're
So-
with your family.
I'm sure like the majority of people that watched him just thought that's how he talked normally.
Oh yeah, I did for decades.
Yeah.
Decades.
Yeah. I remember back when there was a rumor that he had some sort of speech impediment, or
Mhm.
that it was, they were like, the same time when people were convinced that Boy George was just flamboyant, like,
Yeah.
oh, he's just eccentric.
Yeah, that makes us
You know-
that makes us feel better.
They thought, okay, Boy George was just eccentric, and Bobcat Goldthwait just had a speech impediment.
Yeah, and same with and Gilbert Gottfried just had a crazy weird voice. But I thought that I honestly don't think I knew about Gilbert's real voice until like fucking last year.
Yeah. Okay, so and then another movie with a comedian, one that I always really liked a lot was Jim Carrey, Man on the Moon.
Yeah, Jim Carrey is a great actor.
Yeah, and that movie is a really good movie, and it's a really tragic story too. About Andy. What was his name?
Andy Kaufman.
Andy Kaufman. Yeah. And he because Andy Kaufman, there is a thing where comedians, it's like, okay, are you a character or are you just insecure and you're not comfortable being yourself in front of a crowd, and so you mask that with some sort of crazy persona. But it was kind of like what Andy Kaufman did at the time, was something that was completely unique, where he also had that alter persona of what was his name, the lounge, or the guy who wore the suit, who was really offensive. I mean,
Tony Clifton.
Clifton, yeah.
Clifton.
And I mean, just all of that was really interesting. I think Man on the Moon was an excellent.
Yeah,
movie.
have you ever heard the stories about like the behind the scenes stories about like Jim Carrey? He went like full method in that movie, like to the point where people were like fucking sick of him. Like,
Yeah.
I guess
It's so fucking annoying.
can you imagine? I guess he like even at one point like fucking crashed his car on set or something because he was drunk. Just like flew on set and fucking like wrecked into the set or some shit. Like, I guess people were so people that worked with him in that movie were so over Jim Carrey, but he gave it his all. That's the point, is that he literally lost himself in Andy Kaufman, which you had to do, I think, to be able to pull it off.
Yeah. So that was I think a great movie.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm gonna make my pornography tangent, my contractually mandated pornography tangent for the show. I've been reading through. I got a whole run of Wheeze, so I've been reading through them. And there was an Andy Kaufman interview in that where he they were asking him about Tony Clifton, and he was still, it was like 80, 81. He was still insisting that he was not Tony Clifton, that he met him in Vegas, and he impersonated him once, but it wasn't really him. He keeping the bit up, like he would not admit to it. So that was fun.
Yeah, and you know, for that time too, because Andy Kaufman was, I mean, all comedians back then, they were coke fiends, you know, they were raging alcoholics.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know, like they would.
Robin Williams was big into coke in the 70s.
Oh yeah,
and 80s probably.
But Andy Kaufman was sober too, which is very bizarre. You know, for that.
Andy Kaufman was not a regular dude at all on any level. He was not from this planet. I don't think he did not belong here.
Yeah. And then his tragic, you know, the cancer and all of that. So it's an excellent story, excellent movie, and Jim Carrey, really, really good in that one.
What's up with cancer taking comedians too? Jesus Christ, man.
I know, right? Like they should they should drown in a bathtub. That's the way comedians should go out.
I know. Yeah.
You choke on vomit. That's the way you do it.
That's right.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be your vomit. It could be somebody else's, but just choke on some vomit like a professional.
They need to go down partying for sure. Every one of them. They need to be Chris Farley.
Yeah.
If you're a comedian and you're not living like Chris Farley did, then you're doing it wrong, I think.
I've never been for Jim Carrey. I'm more like his dramatic stuff. To me, when he does his comedies, he's like too over the top for me.
Yeah, he's like a cartoon character, and it gets old really fast sometimes.
Yeah, generally I don't like that style of comedy. I do like him a lot in Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. I think he's really good in that, and also Man on the Moon.
Yeah.
One movie weirdly that I watched relentlessly as a kid, and I don't know why, is Once Bitten.
Yeah, Once Bitten's cool.
Where he I guess it's probably his first starring movie.
I think it is, or first or second, because there's like Earth Girls are easy too, right?
Yeah,
that might have been later.
And then he's like a fake Axl Rose in the Deadpool, the Dirty Harry movie.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh, I forgot about that.
He plays a dirtbag, yeah.
And many other roles.
But Jim Carrey is a talented actor. I would love to see him continue down the dramatic path and maybe do some indie movies, which I could see it happening. Maybe not now, but maybe in 10 years when I think Jim Carrey's either going to vanish off the face of the earth, or maybe he'll go down the cool indie path, like, you know, Nick Cage or something. But I would love to see him do more of that.
And you can't forget Dumb and Dumber, one of the greatest movies ever made.
That is my all-time favorite comedy, to be honest. That is my number one comedy.
I love that movie.
It's magical.
Yeah, love Dumb and Dumber. I can't remember the exact quote, but
I do.
Well, in the beginning, I forget what are their names in the movie?
Harry and Lloyd.
Which one's Harry and which one's Lloyd?
Lloyd is Jim Carrey, and Harry is Jeff Daniels. Yeah.
Okay. So Harry says something like, "What am I going to do now? I spent my entire fortune turning my van into a dog."
Chicks love it. It's the shaggin' wagon.
Yeah, whatever that exchange is.
Chicks love it. It's the shaggin' wagon.
Yeah, I do love that movie.
Like they had one female in that van, but according to Lloyd, chicks love it.
And I also love the cable guy, even though I think
I love it.
He's Jim Carrey is again like too over the top, playing it weird, like a weirdo.
Yeah, they could have dialed him down just a tad.
Yeah, but the actual like the movie around him is so great, like the actual script. And my favorite line
by Ben Stiller.
My favorite line in that movie, of course, is the Janine Garofalo line, where they go to medieval times. and she's like the goth waitress at medieval times, and they ask
She's
for
great.
a fork, and then she just goes, there were no utensils there were no utensils during medieval times, so there's no utensils at medieval times. Would you like a refill on that Pepsi?
Yeah.
But she doesn't
totally, she does not give a shit. She doesn't want to be there. Yeah.
She's just spewing out the words as fast as possible.
Anyone that's ever worked at a restaurant is like, yeah, I get it. we don't see people as human anymore. Like,
and James says the reason why they had that scene in Deadpool is because Clint Eastwood's son was a Guns N' Roses fan.
Really?
What the fuck?
His son was lame. His son was a poser, by the way.
Clint was like, yeah, I'll do it, but you got to let my son co-write the script. He's 9 years old.
Yeah. He worships Axl Rose.
Which son was it? The son who's an actor now?
Scott,
or does he have another? He might have a couple sons. I don't know.
Scott's not bad. Scott Eastwood. He's got some potential.
Anyway, so I have a video on my channel actually that I did soon after Gilbert Gottfried died, where I talk about his various appearances in movies. And I will say that probably my favorite impersonation of all time is Gilbert Gottfried doing Andrew Dice Clay.
I haven't seen it.
Because it's just nonsensical.
Yeah.
So it's just going die. He'll do like his nagging wife, like Dice, and then he goes, oh, shut the fuck up, oh! and then he'll just go back and forth, but it'll never make any sense. It's just it's just gibberish.
It just sounds.
Gilbert was a fucking genius, man. Genius.
Two quick Gilbert Gottfried stories that are amazing is, I'm assuming they're true, but he once, one of Jerry Seinfeld's first where he was the lead stand-up or whatever you call that.
Headliner?
Headliner.
Yeah, headliner, and I think Gilbert was middling, or came on right before Jerry Seinfeld, but this was in the early 80s. So Jerry Seinfeld was not really known yet. Like, he had just become a headliner at comedy clubs.
Oh, yeah.
And Gilbert's entire 30-minute act before Jerry Seinfeld went on stage was him doing a Jerry Seinfeld impersonation. And I don't know and it's a similar thing where he would do a Jerry Seinfeld. He's like, you ever see a guy bend over to tie his shoes? What's the deal? Tie your shoes before you leave the house.
That's a great way to sync like the headliner's set when he comes on after.
I was just gonna say, I wonder how Jerry felt about this, or did he know? I wonder if he knew it was gonna happen, or how he felt about having to follow it. You know, Jerry's a total professional. I'm sure
Gilbert would just sabotage, do whatever he was doing. So he did.
So good.
He did that. He did that, and then people didn't know, like, who the fuck is Jerry? Oh, I haven't. This is the first time I'm seeing Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Gilbert was maybe one of the most underrated comedians of all time. Him and Norm Macdonald, and I mean the list goes on, but like underrated as comedians, not actors or celebrities.
Yeah. Norm Macdonald was brilliant.
Fucking brilliant. One of the best, top 10 easily of all time. Yeah.
And then the other Gilbert thing is, there was a comedian that was opening for Belinda Carlisle, and
what the fuck?
He couldn't make the show, so last minute they hired Gilbert Gottfried, and right before they went on stage, whoever the producer told him, all right, the entire audience is like mothers and their daughters, so you can't use any swear words. And allegedly, he used the C word over 70 times.
Because they told him not to.
So he only did in like 10 minutes before they kicked him off. He just did
Before they kicked him off.
He just did vagina jokes, like street, like like a woman goes to the gynecologist and my C is blah blah blah. So he just did 10 minutes of vagina jokes.
See that right there, that's what stand-up comedy is all about. I don't know if it's still done to these days, but like stand-up comedy is all about, as much as I don't like anyone to be politically incorrect necessarily, like stand-up comedy is definitely about pushing the boundaries and pissing people off at the risk of, you know, your reputation or your paycheck, or, you know, you can't give a fuck. I feel like if you want to be a good comedian, you can't have yeah, you got to take risks like that.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree.
And Gilbert took some risks. If you remember, like his 9/11 joke and his post 9/11 joke, and like, yeah, up until the day he died, I think he was still, you know, pushing boundaries.
And the Japan joke, the tsunami,
yeah,
it's a great joke, because
it's a great joke.
It was like in Japan, you don't go to the beach comes to you. And he got fired from. But that's just a good joke.
It's just a good joke.
I'll admit though, I've never heard a 9/11 joke that has really killed. You know, like it's not 9/11 humor. We're just not there yet.
Yeah.
I've been just in the last couple of days, I fell into a YouTube rabbit hole of watching roast clips, and one of them was Gilbert, and his approach was just so different and unique and cool. Like the Joan Rivers roast, you know, everyone's going up there. Joan Rivers is old. Joan Rivers has too much plastic surgery.
Yeah.
And he goes into like a 10-minute story about the time when he was a young comedian and he met Joan Rivers and they had sex in the liquor storage room, and you know, her turning into like some serpentine monster and her vaginal fluids burning through the floor, and just everybody's dying, and it's just, you know, it's basically one long extended joke, and it was just so cool.
Yeah, his I think maybe one of my favorite bits of his is the two-faced boy, or the Jew, or maybe it's called Jew or two name boy, where at the, you know, the punchline is it's Jew name boy, but he thinks it's someone pronounced or is saying it, and he thinks they're saying two name boy, like with and he goes on a rant about all the actors that have two names, you know, like Jonathan Taylor Thomas, or you know, and he goes on that tirade for like 5 minutes, and then at the end it's like, oh, two-faced boy. I thought you said Jew-faced boy, or Jew name boy. But it's like a 8-minute bit or something, and it's classic.
My favorite Gilbert joke maybe is the did you hear Hitler's grandnephew got busted for child molestation? Imagine being the black sheep of the Hitler family. It's like you're at the family reunion, and there was like, "Where's the grandnephew?" It was like, "Oh, we don't talk about him."
Yeah, he wasn't invited.
Yeah, he's not invited to
the family name.
Yeah. So speaking of Dice Clay and Gilbert Gottfried, have you guys seen The Adventures of Ford Fairlane?
Oh yeah, it's a great one. Oh yeah,
because and that's Rennie Harlan directed it. I was looking at IMDb. It actually came out, I think, within 2 weeks of Die Hard 2. So
weird.
Maybe 2 weeks before. So Rennie Harlan had 2 movies released back to back.
Weird.
And I think that movie did really poorly, but I think it was a noble attempt to try to make Dice Clay a movie star,
Yeah.
because I think there's not too many types of movies you could do with that character.
Mm-mm. No.
But it's basically he's a rock and roll detective, and then they have all these situations where he basically does his material within the context of him going around finding clues. And then Gilbert Gottfried plays like a shock jock that he's friends with and gets clues from. And plot wise, it's pretty stupid, but there's a lot of funny shit in it, I think.
Yeah. Are you guys Neil and Bob, or is that just what you do? Oh.
There's a motorcycle gang outside my window.
I fucking hate motorcycles. Hate them.
But my favorite moment from Adventures of Ford Fairlane is, so Wayne Newton plays the villain, and then Dice does that gag where he goes to toast Wayne Newton, and he goes, "Here's to you, sucking my dick," and he smashes the glass over his head.
Wayne Newton is actually kind of an underrated actor too. He's actually kind of great at the few movies he's been in, or that I've seen him in. He's always actually really good, surprisingly.
And Clay has a good point that it was written or co-written by Daniel Waters, who did Heathers. Yeah, I don't know what happened to him, if he's been working or
Retired, maybe.
But yeah, I think the movie is a very respectable attempt at trying to make him a star, but it just didn't work.
I guess maybe
A movie
he was
star.
too much. Maybe
he was
too
a comedian
much.
star.
Yeah. Oh, huge. Yeah. Yeah.
But I guess there was a lot of backlash at the time and different groups picketing his shows or whatever.
He was too much for people at the time. I think too offensive and too dirty.
Was it Nora Dunn that refused to be on the Saturday Night Live episode that he posted? I know
Yeah.
it's one of the cast members.
But I think Dice was also permanently banned from Saturday Night Live. Yeah, I think he was like the only host who was ever permanently banned from SNL.
Yeah. Once again, those are my favorite comedians, are the ones that just like that don't compromise. And Andrew Dice Clay did not compromise.
I saw that episode, and that's the first time I'd ever seen him, and I was a kid, so I thought it was hilarious. I was waiting for him to replay it, and there was never a rerun of it. So yeah, must be that was he went too far, and they said nope, you're gone.
Yeah, I think so. Clay's comment there.
And yeah, so one movie that I did not like that I half watched this week, because it stars two of my favorite stand-up comedians, and that would be George Carlin and Richard Pryor. Well, it doesn't star them; they're just in it briefly. But looking at the DVD cover, you'd think it would star them, of course.
Yeah,
and that movie is Car Wash, 1976. And I didn't really find it that funny or interesting in particular.
I haven't seen it. I know of it though. I remember it.
It's written by Joel Schumacher, but it's basically a mostly black cast, and it's a comedy. It's just a day in the life of a car wash, and there's a disco soundtrack, and then George Carlin and Richard Pryor briefly appear. But I didn't really get what's funny about it.
I'll have to check it out. Yeah, how do you not be funny with having Pryor and Carlin in
James loves it, and it was remade as considered some sort of classic. I would say that the Carlin and Pryor scenes are amusing, I guess.
Just could have used more of them, I bet.
Yeah, but they're in for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. The thing is I can't think of another movie where both of them were in the same movie, though. You know,
True.
'Cause
They would have made
I
a great combination, those two.
I remember Car Wash, but well, also at that time too, they were just regular old stand-up comedians. They they weren't
Yeah.
they weren't legends like they are nowadays.
Yeah. Yeah, that would have been great to see a Carlin Pryor full movie, kind of like kind of like Pryor with Gene Wilder, but just take Gene Wilder, put in Carlin. But one of my favorite things to watch is, if you guys haven't seen it, just watch, like, I think it's the 1981 Johnny Carson appearance with Pryor and Carlin. They both do a set, and then they come out and sit next to each other, and they talk about, like, their history and stuff. It's just so cool. Because they both go back to, like, what I think the late 60s or something, and they're talking about, they kind of they came up at the same time, and like Pryor's like, yeah, I go so far back, I was actually known as the black comedian at one point. But and it's just so cool seeing those two together. So we should have gotten a movie with them, but
Yeah, I need to rewatch some of Richard Pryor's movies, and he's definitely probably top 3 favorite stand-up for me of all time.
yeah.
But I don't think he was used as well as he could have been during his movie career.
I agree.
I think a lot of times they tried to make him really likable, and that was really the push.
Yeah.
Like, there's that movie where he's the con, or he's on parole, and he's driving the bus full of special ed kids.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forget what that's called.
Is it Bustin' Loose?
Bustin' Loose, yeah. I think Bustin' Loose.
Which is decent, but
It's decent.
it seems like a lot of movies, they're just trying to make him really sympathetic. Like, he's such a hard-edged, smart, acidic comedian. Like,
Yeah.
let's make him safe and acceptable to lame white people or something.
Yeah, he kind of plays most of his movies. He's kind of playing almost like a character from some of his bits, really, where he's playing that, like, oh, I'm kind of just a dumbass, like, but I somehow make it. But yeah, you're right. He was underutilized.
Yeah, as a dramatic actor, more of a dramatic role, he's great in Blue Collar, and everybody's great. That movie's awesome. And then I rewatched Stir Crazy.
Yeah, that's great.
One of the Gene Wilder, which is really funny.
Yeah.
And it's basically Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor lose their jobs. They're best friends, and then through a ridiculous situation, they get wrongly imprisoned for a bank robbery. And
we're bad. We're bad.
Yeah, this is like the part where Richard Pryor tells Gene Wilder, is like, you got to act super black and tough so you don't get sexually assaulted. So Gene Wilder just does it so over the top, where he's like a Queen African dream. It's so good.
It is good. Yeah.
And there's I noticed that Joe Beth Williams and what's his face, Craig T. Nelson, are both in it, oddly.
Craig T. Nelson's great.
And they're the couple in Poltergeist. And there's a ridiculous plot thing where Joe Beth Williams is like the legal assistant for their defense. And the only clue they have as to the actual bank robber is that he had a tattoo. So she decides, just based on that, the actual bank robber has a tattoo. So she says, I know what to do. I'm going to get a job at a strip club, because guys with tattoos go to strip clubs. And then so she gets a job as a waitress, This is a legal assistant. Gets a job as a waitress at a strip club, and then like within a day spots the guy with the tattoo.
He fucking
Yeah.
nailed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, James mentioned Hear No Evil, See No Evil. That's got some pretty great scenes too. Like where Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor first meet in that movie. So
Yeah, I haven't seen that since I was a kid. Like I watched all these movies when I was a kid, so I'm
it's classic.
I'm probably
Yeah.
gonna rewatch that one.
Going back to the 1980s feature-length stand-up special, what about Eddie Murphy Raw?
Oh yeah, classic.
That's another iconic stand-up movie, I guess you could say, because I think it was in theaters. It was definitely an HBO
HBO special
feature, but I think it was also in theaters too.
I think you might be right.
Yeah, I think Raw and Delirious were both in theaters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eddie Murphy in his prime was pretty untouchable as well.
Yeah.
He had that period of time for when he was just like, untouchable.
Yeah. Yeah, in terms of he fell off at some point and he stopped being funny.
Oh yeah, he sure did.
I mean, Coming to America is awesome.
Yeah.
But so on that topic of Eddie Murphy, actually, I recently finished a book, the editor Paul Hirsch, a long time ago in the cutting room far, far away. He's most famously the editor of Star Wars, and then he edited Planes, Trains, and Automobiles and Body Double and just a million movies you've seen. Carrie, he edited. He tells us story of he was the original editor of Adventures of Pluto Nash, the starring Eddie Murphy. It cost $100 million and made $5 million worldwide.
Jesus Christ.
One of the biggest bombs of all time.
Whew.
And and I think this partially explains like the Eddie Murphy fall off comedically. He tells a story where he read the original script and thought it was hilarious. And then apparently Eddie Murphy told him to take all of the humor out of the script because he would play it funny. He doesn't need the script to be funny. So they did that. And then while they were on set, he would do a take and just do it dead serious. And then the director would be like, "Okay, can we do it again, but make it funny this time?" And he would do the it doesn't work for me, brother. Not playing it funny. He would refuse. And I heard a similar story in an interview with John Landis, who did Beverly Hills Cop 3. He directed multiple movies with Eddie Murphy, but for Beverly Hills Cop 3, he said something about like Eddie Murphy refused to do anything, say a line comedically because he just wanted to be known as a dramatic actor, apparently. So
wow.
But 48 Hours is awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that's his first co-starring role.
Well, Trading Places too with Dan Aykroyd. That was another big one. But yeah, I think 48 Hours was probably his first.
Yeah. My favorite line in that, for some reason, is when Eddie Murphy's in the back seat, and then he's like, "Why don't you?" He says something like, "Why don't you come in the back seat with me and cuddle up to me?" To the Nick Nolte character, and Nick Nolte just goes, "Fuck you." The way he says it, like he's so offended. Like his Nick Nolte's gay panic, "Fuck you," is so great. It makes me laugh really hard.
And 48 Hours was such a big hit, it gave us Streets of Fire. So another point in its favor.
Yeah, and another 48 Hours, which is
And
nowhere near as good.
Mm-hmm.
Did Walter Hill do that one?
I think so. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring up.
I don't know if I've ever seen it.
Well, and then there was Beverly Hills Cop. So, something about Eddie Murphy playing cop, but in the buddy cop movies. So I think, but Beverly Hills Cop was a buddy cop movie, or was just 48 Hours.
I think he was on his own pretty much in Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah,
Okay.
he had his two the two cops, but they weren't like a team because they're like the two Beverly Hills cops, and then he's the Detroit cop coming in. So it was sort of a buddy cop thing with like three different cops with Judge Reinhold and what's his face.
Yeah.
Well, I just watched just today, kind of tying in. I don't know if are we going to talk about the Rudy Ray Moore movie or
yeah.
okay. So I watched My Name is Dolomite, the Eddie Murphy, Rudy Ray Moore, I guess biopic. It's more about like his beginnings and up to and after making Dolomite. But it's been a long time since I'd seen Eddie Murphy be funny, so it was pretty cool to see. It's like, oh, he can still be funny. Yeah, it was I thought it was a really well done movie and kind of made me want to go back and watch some Rudy Ray Moore movies, kind of in the spirit of now kind of knowing where they came from because, spoiler, I did not enjoy Petey Wheatstraw at all. I hated it. So, but now kind of knowing like how it was. Oh my, holy shit! Sorry, that's my cat. He scared the shit out of me. Knowing kind of the spirit it was made and everyone kind of doing it themselves, kind of did the DIY, and I think I could appreciate it more now knowing that. But yeah, so Eddie Murphy has made a funny movie in the last 5 years, so I would recommend watching it. It's on Netflix.
Yeah, I did really enjoy it too. I think Wesley Snipes is awesome. He almost like steals the movie.
Wow.
And Divine Joy Randolph is in it, and I think she's awesome. So that was
Yeah,
cool.
she's great.
Hold on. I have a Rudy Ray Moore album, but it's got nudity.
Oh no!
Return of Dolomite. Yeah, because I was watching those the Shout Factory blaxploitation that set, and then I rewatched Dolomite and Human Tornado, and that sort of led me to Petey Wheatstraw. I love in so Human Tornado, which is the sequel to Dolomite, and in the movie My Name is Dolomite, they actually combine the two.
Oh,
So he's making Dolomite, but it's really like in the movie a combination of the two movies, which is fine. But they just combine those two, the making ofs, into one thing. But I love that because in Humor Tornado it starts where he's doing stand up, and he comes out and he does crowd work, and the Rudy Ray Moore crowd work in Humor Tornado. He just comes up, he comes out and says like bunch of ugly motherfuckers in the house tonight. And that's it. He just says, all y'all motherfuckers are ugly. And that's his crowd work, something like that. Everyone, instead of like pointing out like, hey, you in the front row, he's just like, everyone in here is fucking ugly.
yeah, I don't. It's not a culture I'm 70s black culture I'm not that familiar with, but it's not whenever I've seen him, it's not funny to me. So I don't know, like the brief stand up moments in Petey Wheatstraw is like, all right, so she's fat, ha ha ha. I don't get
it. Well, so Scott did not like Petey Wheatstraw. I would say that P.D. Wheatstraw is almost like the third Dolomite movie, even though it's not a Dolomite character. It might as well be. And the plot is just so ridiculous. I'll bring up I did a couple of stills. But let me try this. Oh, hold on. So this is Leroy and Skillet were a comedic stand-up comedic team, and they run a club, and then Rudy Ray Moore also runs a club. And then I think it's hilarious that so you have these two jolly guys. They're competing against another club across town, and they're worried that this other club is going to cut into their business. So what do? Scott?
They kill a child.
Yeah. They shit. You would think maybe they would put flyers around town and be like, that club sucks. Come to our club. Something like that. Maybe something funny. No, they murder P.D. Wheatstraw. They murder his entire family, and they murder all of his friends, including children. It seems like an overreaction.
To you, it's an overreaction.
Yeah. Well, I'm a snowflake, I guess. And this is Wild Man Steve, who I'll talk about in a second. And he does kung fu just like Dolomite. And he has a deal with the devil that he has to marry. So basically, Dolomite makes a deal with the devil that he'll come back to life if he marries the devil's daughter. So that's the deal. And there's a scene where they also place a bomb in Rudy Ray Moore's club. So he comes out and throws it, and then unfortunately destroys a bunch of watermelons. Perfectly good watermelons gone to waste. And then I do really like the scene where he has like the magic pimp cane or whatever that is, and he's producing miracles. So he fixes this kid's nappy hair, and then this fat woman, he makes her skinny. So that's an example, a couple of examples of miracles he performs. Eli, have you seen any of the Dolomite, Human Tornado, Rudy Ray Moore stuff before?
I've only seen the one that isn't it just called Dolomite?
Yeah, that's the first one.
Yeah, I've only seen that one. I love it though. I think it's so good.
Yeah, Human Tornado is the sequel, and that's really good too. I do. Dolomite's definitely my favorite. I think of these three, it's sort of Dolomite to me is still the best.
I will admit I got into Dolomite through Red Letter Media, so I was pretty late. But hey, better late than never. I saw it on Red Letter Media, and I was like, "That sounds awesome," and it is. They didn't let me down with that one. I know Jay and Mike, or probably all three of them, really are huge, huge Rudy Ray Moore fans. Or I guess huge Dolomite fans at least, but I assume Rudy Ray Moore in general. So that was my introduction.
Yeah, I remember renting it on VHS, and especially with the first movie, on the VHS, because it's full frame. You see the boom mic a ton of times.
You just get used to it.
So if you've seen, another movie to recommend is Black Dynamite, which is like a parody of Dolomite, basically.
Oh yeah, I've always wanted to see Black Dynamite.
With Michael Jai White.
Yeah, I heard it's great.
Yeah, it does help to have seen at least the first Dolomite. Yeah. But they do a gag in Black Dynamite where the boom mic
intentional boom mic,
basically comes in.
It's so good.
But the funny thing is, watching it on Blu-ray, you don't really see the boom mic. It was really just if you saw it on on VHS.
Oh, that's a shame because that's a huge loss to cover that up, to accidentally cover that up. That's a huge loss to the movie.
So I don't know if like people raised on, because Vinegar Syndrome put it out on Blu-ray. So I don't know if, you know, these people raised on Blu-ray are going to get those jokes. Because it used to be even 35 millimeter films, if they weren't masked correctly in the theater, you would sometimes see the boom mic.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever had that experience.
I don't know if I have. My when I saw Dolomite, it was just on DVD. So I think the boom mic stuff's still in the DVD. That might just be like a VHS transfer, basically. I think it's an old DVD, you know, early DVD when they didn't really do anything to clean them up.
Yeah.
Just like one thing too, going back to Leroy and Skillet. I used to collect stand-up comedy records from the 50s through the 70s. There was a record label back in the day called Laugh Records, like LAFF Records, and really iconic comedy record label were Red Fox and exactly, and but I have a Leroy and Skillet record, a bunch of other ones too, man. I mean that was the OG like filthy comedy, and you know,
yeah, Red Fox was a pioneer.
Like laugh records, man. That was the only way you could get filthy stand-up comedy back then.
You got to wash your ass.
Gotta wash your ass. Fun fact, my I used to talk about Red Fox so much and watch All in the Family and stuff when my son was really, really young. When he played one of the Fallout games, it might have been like Fallout 4 or whatever, or might have been something like that. When he was probably like 5 or 6, his you know how you can design your character in those games, you can customize him. His character was a black dude named Red Fox. And I'm pretty proud of that. That's a proud moment for me.
There was a black ventriloquist back in the 70s. And what was his name? I forget. But
was it Richard or Willie and
Richard and Willie, and like there was one called Funky Honky Nasty, like you know what, and then filthy stuff. I have a couple of his records too, but like that was stuff that, holy shit, that nowadays you wouldn't see that anywhere.
So way ahead of its time, really, way ahead of its time. Decades ahead of its time, probably.
Richard and Willie, that was it. Yeah.
Is that the ventriloquist I'm thinking of that was on like mainstream stuff all the time? Or is it somebody else?
Well, I'm sorry. What was that?
I remember a black ventriloquist and his dummy was black. Is it on like mainstream shows like in the? Is that somebody different?
His stand-up was so. I mean, his records were so filthy. There's no way it could have been on TV. But maybe he did have like a clean set that he did on TV, possibly.
Oh, you know what? I'm thinking of Lester. Lester was that dummy's name. So it's not the same thing.
Oh, okay.
Sorry to waste everybody's time.
I think I know what you mean, though. I remember Lester. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not your fault, Scott. I mean, it's not like there were a ton of them either, you know.
It was the black ventriloquist.
yeah. I mean, one of the 3 probably or whatever.
Yeah, it's not like ventriloquists are. It's really a dying art. You don't. I mean, like
it might be a dead art by now. But
dead art. I mean, you know, what's his name? I mean, there's that one guy who's huge. He does
fucking
the Vegas residency.
What's that? What's his name?
Jeff Dunham.
Jeff Dunham.
Yeah. I fucking hate Jeff Dunham. But yeah, more power to him.
But it's one of those things where, you know, it's like plate spinners, you know, and you know,
Yeah.
prop comics like
Oh,
Carrot
yeah.
Top. You know, we were talking about Carrot Top before in the chat. Prop comics, ventriloquist, plate spinners. It's just something that you don't see anymore. I mean, pretty much the only names that we can think of that are modern, they're old and, you know, bound to retire soon. And
Yeah,
I
I
can't
don't
think
see
of
those
any
things coming back
replacements.
anytime soon. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are old comedy forms that might be dead forever, basically. Minus Jeff Dunham.
I have a stand-up clip that when I did a set at Gotham Comedy Club when I lived in New York, sometime like around 2010, and I did a sock puppet, and I did a sock puppet impersonating Andrew Dice Clay, but it was G-rated. and so there was like what was it? It was something about something about making a sandwich, doing a nursery rhyme, but about making a sandwich. And it was like, I got tomatoes, I got pepperonis too. Oh, or I can't remember, but
Clean Andrew Dice Clay would be interesting. I don't even know what it would be like. You know.
Not really movie related, but since you brought up Andrew Dice Clay again, I recently listened to The Day the Laughter Died again, the comedy album. That holds up. That's pretty great.
Yeah, it is.
Too.
I haven't heard it in a while, but it's considered sort of like anti-comedy, or he's bombing the entire time.
The concept, whether it's true or not, was that he would just show up at comedy clubs like 20 minutes before closing and go on stage. There's nobody there, and just go up there and just bomb. Nobody's laughing. but
yeah,
it really shows us that he's way more clever than his character was.
But that to me is his best stuff, is when he's getting angry with the crowd and going back and forth with them. That on that album in particular, that stuff actually holds up really well.
Well, he was in that movie pretty recently, maybe within the past 10 years, where what was it? He played someone's father, and it was actually considered like an excellent performance, and people were like, this is a brand new Andrew Dice Clay that we've never seen before. I can't remember which one that was.
Was it Blue Jasmine, the Woody Allen movie?
Yeah.
That's funny.
He was
Full
really
circle, Tom. Isn't that movie I talked to you about like 2 weeks ago? Blue Jasmine.
Yeah, so that's with what's her face?
With Sally Hawkins.
Sally Hawkins and Andrew Dice Clay.
Yeah, wow. That's funny that it comes up tonight.
Yeah,
I have no doubt Andrew Dice Clay probably could be a good serious actor. I would not even be surprised, you know?
Yeah, I don't remember him doing too much after that in terms of acting, like since Blue Jasmine.
Not that I've ever heard of.
The Pam and Tommy TV series.
Oh, was
kind of a, I mean, I wouldn't say a small part, not a huge part, but a supporting role as like a mob boss or something. Kind of doing his shtick a little bit.
Just almost being himself, more or less. Yeah. Not maybe not stand-up related, but maybe adjacent. Have any of you guys seen the Paul Rubens documentary on HBO? I don't know what it's called.
No,
not yet. No.
Okay, I think it's fairly new. But I've heard it's just fucking amazing. I've heard it like it totally covers and addresses like every bit of controversy about him and how he was fucked over and completely smeared, and how he totally like persevered. And I really want to see. I've heard it's fucking heart shattering. I've heard it's like a fucking hard watch, just because of how brutally honest it is. But I really want to watch it.
Yeah, I want to see that.
Yeah.
I did really like the Gilbert Gottfried documentary. This was a while ago, but
I didn't see it.
Do you get to see that he's actually a human being and doesn't actually talk like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he's like, from what I've seen in real life, Gilbert was like a really, really like cool, level-headed dude, like calm, like a fucking Bob Ross type character, like soft-spoken. Can believe it or not. Like,
Yeah, and he was also extremely cheap and frugal.
yes, his
Not
wife
to,
even says.
not to be a stereotype.
Yep. Yep. No, his wife, I don't know if you've seen the interviews or if this is what you're referencing. His own wife has gone on interviews like and like laughingly told stories about how cheap Gilbert was. Times where she's like, we had the money. We were doing really well at this point, and he had no reason to cut corners, and he still did every single chance he got. Every chance he got.
Yeah, like every hotel that he was
Yeah.
ever in, any complimentary, anything he would take and keep.
You take all of it. Like the fucking whole
So if
hotel.
there were 2 bars of soap and he only used 1 and he had the extra bar, he would take it with him and then keep it.
Yep.
So they had this giant stash of stuff.
Yeah, like I said, to the he kept doing that to the well into the time where he didn't need to, but it was just like a habit, I guess. His wife would be like, "Yeah, he didn't need to do that for the last like 30 years of his life, and he still did." And she would say, like, I don't know if you've seen, oh, maybe this is clips of the documentary that I'm talking about, because I'm referencing like clips I saw on YouTube maybe 3 years ago, and his wife seems fucking awesome. Like it's so like she seems so at peace and everything with, you know, like she the interviews with her and stuff, like she's great. She tells the stories about him. She's not crying or tearing up or anything. It's like you would tell a story about your friend that's still alive, you know.
Yeah, she seems like to me she seems like she would have been quite the catch for Gilbert Gottfried.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. She was like a normal like attractive lady,
Yeah.
you know. Yeah. Yep, very, very much. She very much, yeah. He was dating. What's that term? Dating up. He
Yeah.
married up.
Yeah.
But she seems fucking awesome. Like you can tell. Like, yeah, she loved him. The way that she talks about him now, like I said, it's not like she'll talk about him, and it's not like she's tearing up. Like she will tell these stories about him, like he was still alive. You know.
I should look like on YouTube. There's somebody's probably made like a giant compilation of Gilbert on the Howard Stern show because
Yeah, I bet.
just,
Oh yeah.
oh my God.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if I've ever laughed so hard as, you know,
Yeah.
minute 40 of
Yeah.
Gilbert just repeating the same thing over and over, and it just gets funnier and funnier.
Well, because like, yeah, Gilbert going on Howard Stern was like no holds barred too. You know, like no rules or censoring or anything like that. Just
and then Howard wasn't funny anymore, and he wouldn't allow him back on. So
yeah. Oh, dude, wasn't that like a controversy? Didn't Howard?
Oh yeah,
like
Howard
he
was a regular guest
back
for decades, and then all of a sudden, you
Yep.
know, he's doing a show in New York, and he'd call to come on and promote it like he always did, and they were like, I don't know, and then
Yeah.
they just never had him on ever again. They just, you know.
That's another thing I think his wife has said a couple years ago, like about how, yeah, like Howard totally fucking turned his back on Gilbert for no reason at all. Like who does that? Who does that to someone who was nothing but good to them for decades, you know?
I guess it was part of his rebrand or something. Is now, you know,
Yep.
he's the good guy. So
yeah, exactly. And tried to overcorrect himself, I think, you know.
But some of the last times he was on, when Artie Lang was still on the show, just them egging each other on was just, it was so good.
Yeah, he was one of the best guests on Howard Stern, you know, ever. Him and Norm Macdonald probably are like just some of the some of the best.
I used to. I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead, Chris. I'll go after you.
Oh no! I was going to say I used to watch back when Howard Stern was live on ETV, like late at night. What was that? Like probably the late '90s, early 2000s. I used to watch Stern on ETV all the time, and that was when Gilbert Gottfried was on a lot, Norm Macdonald, like all of that. I've never been like a Stern fan really, but I
Same
liked
here.
watching it back then.
Yeah.
You know.
Same here.
I'm Rick. How's it going?
Rick.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Artie Lang and Gilbert Gottfried and Norm Macdonald, and not really of Howard Stern necessarily.
Exactly. Yeah. Howard was more just a conduit to allow all these people to come together, you know.
Which is a skill in and of itself.
True. Yeah.
But my all-time favorite Howard Stern segment, or its multiple segments, is it was Amy Heckerling's like nanny or personal assistant, maybe. She's a German, or was a German woman, and she drove Gilbert Gottfried around because he was, I think, working on an Amy Heckerling movie. And then she called in to Howard Stern to say what a horrible human being Gilbert Gottfried is. And then they sit and explained like all the horrible things that he said to her. And it's so amazing because basically it started because she was driving Gilbert around and he was trying to relax in the back seat. And then she talked about how her parents died in the Holocaust. So then Gilbert proceeded to, during that particular car ride, just relentlessly mock her dead parents who died in the Holocaust.
That is, I think, there's so many parallels, I think, between Norm Macdonald and Gilbert Gottfried. With the way that they would just fuck with people with no addressing it, you know, no explanation of why it's happening. I love it.
I think we're just now warming up to Holocaust humor. It's taken a while, but
it takes time. Yeah. You got to heal first.
Then who knows? 20 years, 9/11 jokes will be the big rage, you know.
They will be.
And I have something for the end for because I want to play a clip that hopefully will be okay, but I want to play a dirty joke.
Cool.
And then if we get kicked off, the show is already over by that point.
Yeah.
But were there any other comedians anyone wanted to bring up in particular?
I just had a chalk pick of Steve Martin. I mean, you know, starting as a stand-up and then having such a long, legendary acting career. But I don't have to go into it. I mean, we've been going on a long time, so.
Yeah, I absolutely love LA Story. And that's not one that necessarily gets a lot of love. But also, partially because I partially grew up in LA, so I was living there at the time the movie came out. So it's just extremely accurate. And it's a good cross between kind of a silly comedy, but also a romantic movie.
Yeah.
And there's the Enya song. I think I got into Enya because of that movie.
Was it the Sail Away, Sail Away, Sail
No,
Away? Okay.
It's on that album. I think it's Exile or something.
Okay, Exile, yeah.
Is that the name of the song?
I think
it's on Watermark.
Yeah, Watermark's a great album.
Yeah. And then there's that scene where Steve Martin goes out, leaves his house, gets into his car, backs out of the driveway, and then pulls into his neighbor's driveway.
Yeah, he goes, because the joke is like everyone drives everywhere. Nobody walks in LA. Even Missing Persons wrote a song about that in the early 80s. Nobody walks in LA. And then so he drives literally 2 houses down.
I've seen people do. I've like lived in neighborhoods where I've seen people drive their car to pick up their mail, where it's like you have to cross the street to get it. I swear to God, or cross the street and then maybe walk 30 feet. I've seen people drive.
Yeah, I haven't seen the trailer yet. I saw just a couple images of Liam Neeson is doing the Naked Gun remake.
Which is wild.
I have severe doubts that that's going to be any good, but
severe doubt. How
My girl Pam's in it, so I got to go see it.
It's fair. It's fair.
Do we know who's directing it or writing it? Is it?
I don't
remember.
It's got to be someone fucking good.
And then James brings up Cheech and Chong.
Hell yeah. I'm a big fan of Cheech and Chong. Huge.
Yeah, I watched all those movies as a kid, like a lot for some reason. And I never grew up to smoke weed or be a weed head, even though I would sit and watch Cheech and Chong movies.
Yeah.
Or Born in East LA. Again, I saw that as a kid. I don't remember it too well.
Or, did you guys ever see I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker?
Oh yeah,
with the Wayans brothers.
Oh yeah,
that movie.
I was a big Wayans brothers fan in the 90s, like early 2000s. Huge Wayans fan.
Yeah, I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker is great.
In Living Color, I still watch In Living Color to this day. Rewatch that all the time.
It's the Lego movie guy. Well, that
really?
It sounds like it's in good hands. I don't know. I guess it's also who wrote it. Who wrote the movie? You know.
Yeah, that's. I don't know.
The only thing I really know about it is David Zucker's all butthurt about it, and he had a whole interview. Old man yells at clouds. It's not It's not funny. It's not what we would have done, and whatever.
And he's probably saying this not having seen the movie yet. is my guess.
Yeah, probably mad that they didn't ask him to take part in it. I'm sure.
Yeah.
There, another one we didn't mention was Freddy Got Fingered.
Oh, yes.
One of the most puzzling movies of all time.
I'm a huge fan of Freddy Got Fingered.
It's great.
So I was a big Tom Green fan. I think the funniest stuff is his the Canadian show before he got to MTV.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it. I mean, I probably played for like 2 weeks, but the reviews were so horrible for it that I did not see the movie in the theater. And I just waited for it to come on DVD. And then like I rented it, watched it, and then rewatched it. And like the next day bought the DVD and probably watched it 3 or 4 times the first week. And I have forced other people to watch it with me.
Yeah. Because it is an experience.
Those that did not go well.
No.
No.
Oh man, there's nothing worse than putting on a comedy for somebody and you're like, dude, you're gonna laugh so fucking hard, bro. And then you play it and they're just fucking sitting there like they hate you. You know, like you can feel the hatred radiating off them at you. Like, I fucking hate you for making this is a piece of shit movie. Fuck you.
Red Letter Media had a take on it that I'd never even considered. That like they said it was like he didn't want to make a movie, so he was just doing all this crazy shit. Like, yeah, here's my movie, put it out, I dare you, and they did. So.
To me, it is intentionally like a satire of Hollywood underdog comedies. His own or subversion, or however you want to phrase it. So to me, it's not like intentionally bad.
No, I don't think so either.
It's just him doing like a subversion of one clue is like there's certain sections where there's like way over the top melodramatic music, So you're supposed to be touched by this scene.
Yeah.
Like when Rip Torn is covered in the elephant cum,
Rip Torn, yeah.
and then they have their moment together, and it has like this piano music and strings in the background. You're supposed to be touched, and it's making fun of just the standard Hollywood comedy where we're supposed to root for the underdog, and then at the end, it's all about family,
Mhm.
and then the music swells. That type of comedy that's not really that funny.
Yeah.
And to me, it was an intent, intentionally trying to subvert those types of movies, like maybe a more generic Adam Sandler comedy or something.
Yeah, all the movies of that exact time that were coming out constantly, weekly, basically.
Well, I would say my humor is Canadian adjacent, even though I've
Yes.
never lived in Canada.
Same here. Same here.
As a huge Kids in the Hall fan,
Yeah.
I've said this before, but like I think my humor is like slightly Canadian,
Yes.
even though I'm not from Canada for whatever reason.
It's it's ingrained in you.
That was one of my first impressions about you, Tom, when we did our bolt thrower deep dive. I was like, this guy's sense of humor is very Canadian. He's Canadian-esque in his delivery.
Canadian adjacent.
The soul of a Canadian.
Yeah, American movie is amazing.
My favorite scene from Freddy Got Fingered is the one where he's where his parents buy him the Chrysler the Baron, and he's talking shit to Freddy. I don't see two Chrysler the Barons, Freddy. Do you? only see one. It's like a fucking 85 Chrysler the Baron.
He gets sent to the school for molested children, and they're sitting around watching Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
He did bad things. He fingered him.
Maybe it's hard to even pick a favorite line, but when he's the scuba diving for the treasure in the bathroom, and then Rip Torn, I think says, "Get out of my scuba gear, you retard," or whatever he says, and he throws him through the glass. The way
Rip Torn is
Rip
like
Torn
the
says
best
that.
asshole dad ever.
Yeah. And then God, Rip Torn is so good in that movie. But there's even in the deleted scenes, there's a line where Rip Torn is talking to the cop, and then the cop's like, "Oh, his name is Gord. If I see Gord, do you want me to bring him home?" And then Rip Torn goes, "He destroyed my boat. I want you to shoot to kill." To the cop. that was deleted out of the movie.
They're like, yeah, no. Not right now. It's
Scott,
a cheese.
you're an honorary Canadian.
I've been mistaken for Canadian many times.
Well, Midwesterners in the U.S., Midwesterners to us sometimes,
I mean, that's fair. I could be in Canada in 2 hours, so that's fair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
I had.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Oh no, I was gonna say, I have friends from Buffalo, and they always told me stories about the Toronto strip clubs. They're like, if you ever wanted to go to a really good strip club, go to a Toronto strip club where it's like I've told stories about going to Maryland Death Fest and then taking a stroll over to the block and going into like Club TikTok or the Pussycat Lounge and the strip clubs in Baltimore or something that are immortalized in strip club history. But apparently Toronto strip clubs are something that are just like, the gold standard for your sleazy strip club experience.
My guess is the strippers are just super polite, And I would appreciate that myself.
Is there anyone that would defend? This is a switch of topic, but is there anyone that would defend any Pauly Shore movies?
Ooh, maybe Encino Man.
Strangely,
Okay.
I remember
Yeah.
Son-in-Law being kind of good. Am I off base on that? I haven't seen it in 25 years, probably, but
You're probably off
maybe it's
base.
just Carlo
Yeah.
Gugino.
I remember he was in a movie where he was just playing a supporting role, and he wasn't in character. I want to say maybe he was like a talent agent or something. I don't think I could support a Pauly Shore movie.
No.
But there, and it's also too, there is that whole nepotism thing too, where it's like
His
kind of
mom.
like Nicolas Cage is another one that I have a difficult time defending, because it's like, dude, you've never had to work a day in your life. You've just had your celebrity career handed to you.
Even though he claims it wasn't, you know that it was. You know.
Oh, completely. Yeah.
Yeah,
all the right connections.
Yeah, his mom owned maybe the most famous comedy club of all time, the Comedy Store.
Was her name Missy or something?
Mitzi Shore.
Mitzi, yeah.
Yeah.
She was the fucking the hammer of authority for stand-up comedy for a long time.
Yeah, since the early 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She made,
that's
from what I've heard, she would
iconic
make
club.
or break your career if she liked you or didn't like you. If she liked you, she'd promote the shit out of you, and if she didn't, you're dead to her. So she was ruthless.
All right, I have something I can end on to bring it back to Petey Wheatstraw. So there's a guy named Wildman Steve, and this is one of his comedy albums. And he works at the club in Petey Wheatstraw with Rudy Ray Moore. And I have an example of one of his jokes. So you guys know the $6 Million Man, the TV show with Lee Majors?
Steve Austin.
Yeah. Wildman Steve starred in a parody of that, a very low budget, crappily made parody of that show called The $6,000 N-Word.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And this was, when it came on home video, it was renamed Super Soul Brother. And Vinegar Syndrome actually put it out on Blu-ray as Super Soul Brother. And so basically, Wildman Steve plays a wino, and he gets picked up to get injected with this magic serum that makes you super strong, but it also makes you die in a week. And then so I'll just play a quick scene, and hopefully we don't get busted for this, but basically they have to, in order to convince him to take this injection, they give him a present, shall we say. So in this scene, he meets his present and then tells her a joke. So let us
God damn! As a matter of fact, about 2 weeks ago, a white woman walked up to me and said, "Wow, man, I'll give you $50 if you knock me out." I screwed her 3 times and then I hit her in the head with a brick. I'd have shot the bitch up there to promise me $100.
I'd have shot her if they promised me $100. So that's
3 times and hit her in the head with a brick.
That's what a party joke was in the 70s.
Woo! Not bad.
And yeah, and that movie promised a sequel at the end. And it says like the N word will be back.
Oh
No,
man.
but there was no sequel. His entire career was that movie and P.D. Wheatstraw, and then there's another movie that's Lost, and I think that was it. So
Lost movie. That's always cool. Can you see this Lost movie, or is it lost like fucking lost?
it's lost.
Oh shit. So no one has a scan or anything.
Not that I know of.
Yeah.
The only there was he has a part in this movie, The Guy from Harlem, which is like even super low budget version of Dolomite, and he has a smallish role. It's like Dolomite if a lot less funny and way more technically inept.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's
so
the
the
guy
root,
from
the
Harlem.
very roots of Dolomite, kind of raw and unrefined.
It came there. They were cash-ins after Dolomite.
Oh, okay.
But these were all like Florida regional filmmakers.
Oh, okay.
So just like in terms of late 70s filmmaking, kind of bottom of the barrel in terms of technical aspects.
Yeah.
Like the lighting and the framing. If you've ever watched like late 70s regional horror movies, like a super low budget movie just from Florida,
very homemade,
produced by like a dentist in Florida or something.
Yeah. Recorded on just shot to video.
But this before video, so this is still like
even before that. Yeah. 70s.
Yeah, so shot on film. So
yeah.
And in the 80s, video kind of changed things.
True.
But yeah, I just wanted to at least have a joke in there.
Oh, sorry. I just saw Simon asked if my order has arrived yet. No, but it finally shipped. So there's that. My vinegar syndrome order that I did like a month ago.
Oh yeah, it's been a while.
That vinegar syndrome.
Curse them. Well, how else was I going to get a Blu-ray of Nightmare Sisters, one of the most terrible movies ever?
You weren't.
Right, exactly.
I think with Linnea Quigley.
Yeah.
Wasn't that shot in like 3 or 4 days or something?
It was, yes, and it's apparent.
And it shows.
But it's one of the few movies that have all 3 Scream Queens in it, so I had to, and I already have it on DVD, but I had to upgrade for some reason.
The Mount Rushmore of Scream Queens.
Yep, that's right.
On.
And they all take a bath together. It's glorious.
Woo! Spicy.
Yeah, having worked on films, like how do you finish a feature film in 3 days? I mean, it's hard to get a short film shot in 3 days, let alone a feature film.
You start by having a 10-minute dialogue scene that's just one static shot, and then if somebody fucks up, oh well.
One take.
No.
One take.
If it's not too bad, you just keep going.
Yeah.
Shoot it like a soap opera.
Right.
It's like a live stage performance of Nightmare Sisters.
Oh, imagine the glory.
All right. Is there anything you guys wanted to add?
Think I'm good.
Nope.
All right. I think we'll call it. I got a joke in. So I thought that was fun. from Wild Man Steve.
Wild Man Steve.
King of the party albums. All right. Thank you, everybody. I'm not sure what we're going to do next week. We might just do maybe do you guys want to do like a hangout stream and like a physical media if we have anything, or what we've
Sure.
been watching?
Yeah.
Because I saw a few more things in the theater, and I'll probably see something else tomorrow.
Yeah, me too. I saw 28 Years Later last night.
Oh, okay, I haven't seen that yet. God, there's a lot of stuff coming out that I want to see.
Yeah, there's some good stuff. I think the next 2 months are going to be like fairly stacked, it looks like.
And thanks everybody for showing up. Rick, Clay, James, Simon.
Yeah, Rick's hosting a stream tonight too, starting
Okay.
at 8 Central, I think is when it starts. It's going to be a Satyr's Slay crew hang.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so I think next week we'll do 6 p.m. again, and then just do like what we've been watching, just whatever.
That'd be good.
Because I did end up watching quite a few things to prepare. I was watching Richard Pryor movies, and it was a lot. So like try to pick another topic like that is going to be hard. So and I have a stack of things I've bought, so I could show off.
Me too.
Thank you, James. James is the man.
Simon's gonna go watch 28 Years Later too. Yeah, Simon, you got to go support your countrymen.
Yeah, I do really like the first two movies.
I really like the first one. I realized, I think over the weekend, I'm like, I don't think I've seen 28 weeks later. I don't think I ever saw it. I own it though, but I don't think I've seen it. I don't remember
You're
it.
supposed to watch them after you buy them?
Yeah, I don't remember it as to where I remember the first one, the whole thing. You know, I've seen that many times, but I just don't remember it at all. So I don't think I've seen it.
I've seen it, but I don't remember much about it. I'd have to rewatch it.
So it didn't leave a strong impact on you.
I don't remember hating it, so there's that.
Yeah, true.
All right. Thank you, guys. Rock on. Yes, Man of War. Have a great night, and thank you everybody for watching, and have a good one. Appreciate it.